Welcome back, Geico OutKick Studios. Appreciate all of you hanging out with me. And I got to tell you, so when this story broke, I was like, this can't be real. I was about to get on with my family at Universal Studios down in Orlando. I was about to get on the new Harry Potter ride inside of Gringotts Bank. For everybody out there who has been to Universal Studios, they have two different Harry Potter worlds in each of their different parks. And they've got a really cool ride. For those of you who've read Harry Potter, they have a really cool ride set inside of the Wizard Bank. And so I was with my 12-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 6-year-old. I'm standing in line. And one of the things about standing in line that's not awful nowadays. Remember when you were a kid and you had to stand in line? Like, there was really nothing to do. And I guess still, if you're a kid, because my kids don't have their own phones, it's still not ideal. But if you're a parent, you can at least distract yourself a little bit. So I'll respond to emails, I'll check news, I'll share articles. I can still be fairly productive with my phone while I'm standing in line if I'm a parent. And then, hopefully the kids aren't trying to kill each other. But I saw the story come through and I was like, this can't be real. There is no way possible that Dwayne Haskins, who was already in, let's be honest, the absolute doghouse of Ron Rivera and the Washington football team, there's no way after a loss in which he played poorly that he went to a strip club. Right? I was like, this is all-time next level dumb for a starting quarterback in the NFL, particularly if you're a first-round pick like Dwayne Haskins. You're a first-round pick in the NFL. They give you a lot of opportunities to fail, right? Because they've invested so much money in you. They want you to succeed. And Alex Smith got hurt and hasn't been able to play the last several weeks. So out of nowhere, suddenly Dwayne Haskins gets an opportunity to come back. Now, they stripped his captaincy from him and gave it to Chase Young, which is, about as embarrassing as you can get. That's like if you're in the Army, they rip your rank off your uniform and just give somebody else the command of your squad. That's pretty embarrassing anyway. But if you were Dwayne Haskins, and if you were right on the edge of whether or not you were going to be able to come back and play for the Redskins anymore, the Washington football team, going to a strip club in the middle of COVID has to be the absolute dumbest thing you could do. It's as if he is trying to get them to release him. And they were hoping that they were going to have Alex Smith able to play against the Panthers. They didn't. They had an opportunity to finally end the NFC East, the absolute disaster of an NFC East playoff race, and it didn't happen. And now we got all these different permutations available, and every Washington football fan out there is thinking to themselves, man, I hope that we got Alex Smith back for the final game of the season against the Eagles, because it wasn't really that the Panthers did an amazing job. It was just that Dwayne Haskins is so bad with this offense, they pulled him. They pulled him late in this game, and he was just and continues to be a disaster. And this is an all-timer for stupid decisions by a starting quarterback in the NFL, because not only is Dwayne Haskins going to get cut, I'm not sure how many other teams are even going to give him an opportunity to come in and play for them now, because they're going to look around and they're going to say, Ron Rivera is kind of a player's coach, right? That's a guy, if you had to pick someone to play with, you would want to play for somebody like Ron Rivera. And when they're bringing in Taylor Heineke, who most of you guys don't even know who he is, to replace Dwayne Haskins, because Haskins was just so bad, they gave him every opportunity to prove that he was the guy, and he's failed. And I would imagine that the Washington football team's going to release him in the offseason. I can't imagine that they're going to stick with him. If they stick with him, it's just going to be because they invested so much money in him in the first place. But the entire process here is just crazy to think about in any respect, that we could remotely have found ourselves here. And that Dwayne Haskins could be that out of like his mind in terms of just making a decent decision. Dub, can you think of a dumber decision by a quarterback that's already on the very edge of getting released? I'm not talking about on the field, bad decision, you make a bad read, bad throw. Off the field, this is up there for a starting quarterback in the NFL. During the pandemic, to go to a strip club, you know that you're being watched like crazy, to be in a photograph. Like, there are so many different levels of dumb here. First of all, somebody says, hey, let's go to the strip club tonight, and you are a starting quarterback in the NFL. You have to say no. If you make the decision to go to a strip club, you have to be able to say, hey, no photos. You have to have somebody there with you who will choke somebody out if they try to take a photo in the strip club. And by the way, who even poses for photos in a strip club anyway? It used to be if you even pulled out a camera in a strip club, somebody would beat you to a pulp. So it's not as if the culture of strip clubs is to get your picture taken. This was like what happened with what's his name? What was the guy's name who went in and said he went to go get the wings?
Lou Williams.
Lou Williams.
At least he had an excuse.
But he also posed for a photo there. During the NBA bubble almost got punctured over this. But this is next level dumb. I mean, his career as a starting quarterback in the NFL may well be over because he went to a strip club during COVID. I mean, can you think of a dumber decision and then got his picture taken while he was at that strip club? Can you think of a dumber decision that you can remember a quarterback making during the season off the field? Because I really can't. I mean, again, there are lots of bad decisions that guys might make on the football field. But I'm talking about a guy who got suspended and was basically going to be let go already. Dub, can you think of a dumber move?
I'm trying to think of even a hypothetical that would be a dumber move. This might be on top of the list. If you had to name 4 or 5 things that a quarterback could do that would be so stupid, this could be number one.
It might be the dumbest thing that any starting quarterback's ever done. And as a result, I think Dwayne Haskins' career with Washington may be over. Chase Young, probably who they want to build this team around anyway, Ron Rivera. They may think that Alex Smith, after another offseason, can come back and be able to play for them. But I think there's probably a good chance that they're going to release Dwayne Haskins. And if they don't, it will entirely be because they have so much money invested in him otherwise. It's just absolutely crazy. And by the way, the NFC East, it's like nobody wants to win it. Every week something new and crazy happens. So we'll see what happens there kind of going forward. But in the meantime, I can't imagine anybody else does anything this dumb, but it fits perfectly for the overall NFC East scenarios. All right, when we come back, we'll break down Sunday Night Football. What did we learn from the big game between the Packers and the Titans? Also, take you into that big matchup in the NFC West between the Rams and the Seahawks. Jared Goff driving everybody who is a Rams fan insane. This is OutKick. I appreciate all of you hanging out with us on Fox Sports Radio.